I figured I'd give you a tour of my restaurant since maybe some of you don't know who I am. It's called The Park. I built this restaurant maybe 4 years ago. Not maybe, I built it 4 years ago. I designed it myself. I pretty much built everything myself except the top part there. You know, this was a little bit more complicated. I built the bar. I built the shelves. As you can see here, I built those tables too. I made them as well, the epoxy table. If you watch other of my videos, I make those, and I used to sell them as well. But I got bored with it, so I do something else. You can see here the colors are pretty good. Those bench I built as well. We're in front of a park outside, so it's quite nice for the customers. I did all the paint as well. It's a very easy going restaurant. Built the bar by myself. I had some help for it though, because I'm not a carpenter. I'm a good woodworker, but not a carpenter. You can see my whiskey collection. I have the biggest one in a restaurant in Hsinchu. There's more behind that screen. Usually I'll play sports. We're not open yet, so that's why it's not all on. My office is in the restaurant because I'd like to be close to my customers. The restrooms are this way. Huge mirror for the ladies. The men's decent toilet size. I spent money in there because I think that if you can't keep the toilet clean, what else can you not keep clean? The kitchen, you've seen a previous video. Lun Lun, say hello. There you go. She's watching over my bread while I'm doing this. Like I said, I have the biggest collection of whiskey in this city. Here's a Buna, Laga, Hartberg, Talisker, Glenrothes, Lafroid for the maniacs, Dalmore, Balvenie. I've got more stuff up there. I'm doing this by hand, so there you go. And we've got more whiskey again. Glenfarclas. This is the view behind the bar. It looks pretty darn good if you ask me. There you go. And the way I built my restaurant, I just renovated it last year. Well, the pandemic is going on, right? We had a drop in customers and I've decided to renovate. So I actually added this whiskey selection in the restaurant because I was gonna buy some art for the restaurant, and I was gonna spend like $4,000 on art, and then I decided, you know what, I don't really like that. It's static, it's not dynamic, and okay, so like I was saying, I was gonna buy like $4,000 of art and put on a wall, and I've decided not to. I thought it was too static, and you know, art goes out of style, and it's not dynamic, it's static. So instead, sorry, decided to put some whiskey bottles on the walls. I think they look great. And it's actually a conversation piece as well. I think it's important to have conversation piece in. For me, it works in my business. Whiskey you can talk endless about, and it's also an upsell at the same time. So basically, people ask you a question about whiskey. I'm educated, of course. You can educate yourself on these things. And you can have long conversation with customer at the same time. It's a conversation that pays because it's an upsell. The other thing with whiskey, beers, and wine is if you're good at it, people want to know more, and if you give them a good service, you have them discover your stuff, then they will tell other people that it's a great place for that. Keep in mind that my restaurant is not a place to get drunk. You're here to have a glass of wine or a bottle of wine or a glass of whiskey while you're having a meal or after. We close at 9:30 here. We close pretty early, so it's not a place to get smashed. You come here, have a good dinner, you start with good quality whiskey, and after that, you go get smashed with Jack Daniels at the bar. Personally, I don't drink anymore, but I still sip. So every time I get something new, I sip it and I try it. Yeah, I think it worked good for me, right? It's not like huge sales, but when customers come, they take a picture of my collection, they put it online. See, your advertisement money can be spent different ways, right? For example, gratuities and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of giving Google money. It doesn't really work for me. I'm more if you get a customer in a restaurant, right, it's kind of your job to make sure he comes back. And maybe sometimes you fly a piece of cake, or you have a new dish you let them try, or he buys a glass of whiskey and I say, if you like this, maybe you'll like this as well. You give a little sampler of something else. And basically, you're doing advertisement in your restaurant by yourself, for yourself, the way you want it. And you're actually targeting the customer you really want in your restaurant, and he's already here. So I'm gonna pick the camera back up and we're gonna go around. Again, this is my wine fridge. Sorry, the restaurant is not open yet, so a little bit messy, so don't worry about it. My wine collection, I think I have about 30 bottles. I have more on the wall there somewhere. Yeah, and yeah, a good selection, you know, and pricing is everything, right? If you sell too expensive of a product like wine, or then it's not an add-on anymore, it's like an investment for your customer. You got to make sure you're inside a budget. You know your customers, right? When I built this restaurant, I knew the customer I wanted. I knew the budget that they would have to spend. For example, for me, it's more like an engineering, younger people from 24 to maybe 45 is my target customer. Here's my beer fridge. Mostly IPAs from California, Sierra Nevadas, IPAs from Canada as well, and some Belgium, Canadians, the usual suspects, and some German beer as well. I got toys for the kids, as you can see here, because we are a family restaurant. Yeah, so knowing your customer is the most important thing. When you build your restaurant, you should know what kind of customers you're targeting and you want to have. Pricing yourself out of the market is, anyway, I'll make another video on this, how to price things, how to build your menu, how to choose your customers. We can go outside. By the way, apparently we need this in 2020. People are savages. They talk on their speakerphone. Here's the outside of my restaurant. It's early morning, so it's not very busy yet, but it's also raining. We'll see what's up. We're fully booked for the day here. It looks pretty nice outside. The rent isn't cheap though, because it's pretty nice outside. So anyway, we're back in. So that was a tour of the restaurant. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh yeah, one last thing. People want to say, dude, you have your office in the middle of your restaurant? So, yeah, I do. It's another conversation piece. I do music. I'm published on Spotify. I use this for editing my music and producing it. And it's a conversation piece, and I have my drums here to practice technique when I don't have time to go to a practice room. And yeah, people come, they ask me questions, and because I have other things too on the internet, right? Sometimes it's a great tool to say, all right, let me show you how I make my epoxy tables, and then I'll make an epoxy table sale. Like for example, I made this table here. The light's not very good right now, but yeah. So anyway. Conversation pieces are very important. You need, you know, I'm hands-on. I like to talk to customer. I think that every time you talk to a customer, it's a chance to do free advertisement. I don't think that, I think that, yeah, you should take any chances. I'm just gonna put this back down. I hope I'm in frame. I think I should be. So every time you get a customer in a restaurant, is a chance to do advertisement, right? You talk to customer, you find their interest. You know, sometimes you're new at it. Conversation is not easy, but you got to work at it and get better at it. For example, I'll make a video on this. You know, I got 7 jokes that I use on every customer in this restaurant. I always say I have the best 37-second conversation in the world, because I know how to handle a customer. I know how to greet them. I know how to read them. Reading a customer is another video I should be making, because it's an art form. Some people got it. Some people, you just go inside a restaurant and you're like, all right, this is gonna be terrible. So that's it for that. I gotta get back to my bread, and I'll catch you later. I hope you enjoy this.